Hi there, welcome to the Yorkshire Academy of American Football video podcast. Today we're going to be speaking to some siblings, and this is first of a series of podcasts we're doing on siblings within the Academy. Today it's Joe and Sam Smith. They're both the sons of Rob Smith, who's the defensive coordinator for the Assassins, and we're going to be talking to them about their school, about life with the academy, playing American football, and various other things. Most important of which is why we wanted to talk to a bunch of siblings from the academy, is sibling rivalry, the competition between themselves, etc. So let's have a chat with Joe and Sam. Hi Sam, hi Joe.
Hi, you're right.
Yeah, not bad, thanks. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for talking to us about sibling rivalry and about also playing for the academy and all the other stuff. If I can start with Sam, first with you. How's it going at school? How's it going at the moment with the coronavirus?
Well, because I'm in my GCSE year, so I'm pretty much not doing much at the minute. I've kind of got to wait around for them to calculate what results they think I would have got. In the meantime, I'm getting on with some bridging work, so it's kind of a bit of pre-work before we start our A-level, so I'm focusing on my law work at the minute, which is what I want to study at A-level.
Excellent. And how about you? You're in your first year at university at Lincoln, Joe. How's that going with you?
It's affected me, so obviously I'm back home now, and all the lectures and seminars and stuff are online, but all it was assignments anyway. I have no exams, so I'm just able to crack on with them at home, so it's not affecting me too much.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's good. And Lincoln University have been pretty supportive, have they?
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. So, well, a bit of a touchy subject at the moment. With the academy, obviously, we're in lockdown now. The campus is shut. You're not able to go to practice. And what would have been the start of the season for both of you, Sam with under-17s at quarterback and then Joe at linebacker in your senior year with the under-19s. We'll start with you, Joe. How do you feel about the under-19s and the delay, and especially with it being your senior year?
I'm gutted because it's like final year Assassins. I've come through with starting off when there was no contact from when it was just flag to now, and the fact that my final season might be cancelled, it is a bit upsetting.
Yeah, and we had Pete Ackley on the Head of Baffa the other day, and he was he was hopeful, but obviously the circumstances dictate it, and he's hoping that we do get something together. So hopefully the under-19s will. Hopefully, at least we'll get some scratch games, but obviously circumstances dictate that. And what about with you, Sam, with the under-17s? We were heading into a year with a good group. We were very, very young last year. You were just moved into the under-17s, and you ended up starting at quarterback from almost the start of the season. So you were coming into your second year at quarterback. How are you feeling?
Well, it's very irritating because obviously the year before last year, we had the run where we came third in the country, and pretty much everybody moved up to the next level. So we were pretty much all new coming into last year, and I think we were wanting to win, but no one expected us to go as far as we did last year. And the amount we succeeded last year kind of set up this year to be, this is our shot at doing what those guys did, like being one of the top teams in the country, and it's irritating that we don't get to show that off.
And as far as with you being a captain, both of you being captains and leading the team, how have you been keeping in touch with the guys on the team? Have you been able to do that? Have you been able to talk to each other?
So we've been communicating on the Zoom calls that the academy have been having. We're all quite close as a collective. I mean, in our group chats and stuff, we're all communicating with each other, and there's a few like different. I mean, you got people like Beckett and Brandon; they're all really close, and then me, Teddy, and Alfie, we're all really close. We're all playing Madden with each other and all sorts. So we're sticking together quite well through it all.
That's good, because it's quite a geographically split group, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, definitely. So with us, we're all communicating through group chats and everything, but the group chats are really helpful because for people, say for example, we come from all over the place. Like obviously we're rather close, but then you've got like Oscar and Zach who they travel quite far away, come play for us. So the group chats can help us to stay in contact quite well.
So tell us a little bit about your journey. You mentioned, you touched on it already, Joe, your journey through the academy when you first started. So, Joe, you were first in, I think, before even Sam started. So tell us about your formative years and take us through to now you're under 19s.
Yeah, so like I wasn't sporty whatsoever. I enjoyed watching American football, but I always wanted to play it, but we could never find anywhere really that did it until we found the academy. And I remember my first session coming down was a flag friendly against the Calderdale Knights. And that was kind of like a nice introduction to it all. And obviously, skip a year on, we start contact. I was only just old enough to start contact in that season, so and I wasn't the highest level of player by any means. And I started off by playing cornerback, and I'll admit it, I wasn't that good because I was never that fast either. So I just used to get beaten all the time. But I stuck to it, and the next season after started at linebacker, and just carried on from there. Captained the season after that. Obviously, in the last season, our under-17s became third in the country, which was quite a big achievement for us. And then last year, moving up to 19s, where it was a big jump, especially because I was playing certain positions that I'd never really played before. Like, for example, O-line. I'd done a little bit at 5 versus 5, but I'd never really done much until I'd gone up to under 19s.
I think it's fair to say, Joe, that shift from cornerback over to linebacker was the making of you. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you seemed a little bit more comfortable in the middle of the field and laying the hits on.
Yeah.
And for you, Sam, you started out with the flag. I seem to remember one of the very early games watching you. You were all about the swag with the headphones on the sideline and.
So I mean, I came into flag, I think mid to late 2015, and I kind of came, and I remember one of the coaches introducing me as Coach Robson, and I could kind of tell everyone was just figuring out where on defense is this kid going to play, and I've never been the biggest, so I didn't really fancy defense, but turned out, and from sport training, throwing a ball with Owen and Oscar, I mean, I found out I could throw a pretty good spiral, so I thought, I'll make good use of that and I'll play quarterback. And coming up through, and before I was in contact, I pretty much came to every contact game we've played and supporting these lot. So it was not as scary stepping up into that spot that I knew I was going to end up in. So it was quite good coming up through the system, through flag, playing those games first, and then moving up to contact.
And I was talking to Teddy the other day, and he mentioned that he's again another captain on the team, the same as yourself. He said that actually working with the CAF team, and you've done this as well, Joe, working with the CAF team as a GA has really helped you guys bond and has actually helped you with your education. Do you feel that's helped you as a quarterback?
Yeah, massively, because I think when I went to CAF last year, I was watching people like Connor, who played quarterback in America, who played wide receiver in America. Like, having that level of experience, that was different for me to see and learn from him, and like the way his brain worked compared to the guys who hadn't really played before. He just had a footballing brain, and I found it really enjoyable to learn from him. So people like Connor and Derek, it was really fun to watch the Americans play, and that's helped me a lot.
And you've moved on now, obviously, up to the University of Lincoln, Joe.
Yeah.
So tell us about your transition from BAFA National League's youth football up to the step up then to Bucks football, and how you've got on in your first year playing with Lincoln.
It was a much bigger step up than I thought it'd be. A step up from 5 versus 5 to 9 versus 9. It was sizable, but it wasn't that much of a difference. But this has been a really big learning experience. Just different methods of zone coverage. I'd never really done much, say for example, zone coverage before as a linebacker. I've done bits, but nothing major. But that's been one of the biggest learning points for me. And reading the game as well. Like, I'd always thought I was good at reading the game, and that was one of the things that I've prided myself on. But moving up to 11 versus 11, reading the O-line, that sort of stuff, it's really been a massive learning curve for me.
It's like walking through Piccadilly Circus, isn't it? It's like going from walking through the countryside to walking through Piccadilly Circus, isn't it? It's quite. Yeah. You've got all those people buzzing around you, smashing into each other. It can be quite confusing, can't it?
Yeah.
And what have you find making that step up to 11 versus 11? Have you found anything that you've actually excelled in?
One thing that I do tend to excel, I think my footwork as a linebacker is quite good, and like I say, I'm quite good at reading what's going on. I've never been the best, the biggest, or the best at making big hits or anything, but what I do excel in is trying to get myself in the right position to make the play, and that's one thing that I'm finding myself I can do. I can get into the position to make the play. It's just then making the play, which is the big thing that I need to improve on, I find.
And did you manage to transition straight into the team? Did you get much game time, or were you actually held back in reserve and have worked your way on, or how's that gone for you?
So I started all our pre-season games. I started them, and then I was kind of held back a little bit, just because we had two other linebackers that had one that had like 2 to 3 years of experience, and another one that had experience of running that sort of defense, and obviously knew the coaches as well. And I do find that, especially in this country, it's not necessarily about who necessarily the best player is, but it's about who you can trust to do the job. And I guess coming into the team, they knew I could do the job, but it's about who you can trust to make the calls and who knows defense better. So I got quite a bit of game time during the season at certain points, but I wasn't a starter by any means.
And learning the playbook, how was that for you?
Different to what I've done before, because, say for example, with when I played under 17s, that was quite basic, and to be fair, I had the knowledge back then to sort of call the players on the field if I saw anything, because it's 5 versus 5, it's quite easy to read. 9 versus 9, again, with it being like 3-man lines or 2-man lines, that sort of thing. Plays weren't necessarily too complicated. They still got some getting my head round, but they weren't too complicated. Whereas with Uniball, there's a lot of different formations that we're using, a lot of different packages. So it was a challenge to learn them all, but I think I did pretty well in learning them and tried to learn them quite quickly.
Awesome. So finally, I wanted to talk to you both about how you interact as siblings in the academy, and whether you found it's been fractious or whether it's been supportive. I'll start with you, Sam. How's it been being in the same organisation as your well, you know, we spoke to your dad the other day about having his kids playing on the team, but with Joe.
So because Joe's been there since the start, he was one of the originals, and I was coming up. So I was, by the 17th, when I was in flag, I was known as Joe's brother. So it's coming through as Joe's brother, being the captain and the linebacker and playing quarterback. It was a bit weird for me because I was playing even though we were playing the same game, I was playing a completely different game to Joe. It's like worlds apart playing quarterback and linebacker. So it wasn't too competitive for us, playing completely different positions, but I think it helped us get better because obviously when you've got a quarterback and a linebacker, there's quite a few drills you can do. Like you're up against each other on the field, so you can get that experience in from home.
And how about you, Joe?
Well, we do have rivalry. Like we have this. Obviously, when I'm helping out with the 17s or watching the 17s, I'm cheering on the defense because I'm a defensive player, and obviously I want him to do well and everything. And if he was to make a good play or the offense was to make a good play, I'd cheer him on. But I always want the defense to do well. As for the rivalry, we never really got that experience of going against each other in offense versus defense or anything like that, just because of the age difference. So I guess that kind of helped us be a bit more supportive of each other and not have like that real rivalry sort of thing. So that was quite good.
Okay, maybe it'll happen in university. You never know.
It might do.
Yeah. Maybe if you decide to go and do a post-grad qualification and Sam goes to a rival university. I've heard of stranger things. Okay, well, listen, guys, thank you so much for joining us today, and thanks for chatting with us.
No problem, thank you.
Please stay safe, protect the NHS, and hopefully we'll see you after the lockdown's finished, back at practice and in the games. Please, God, and you take care. Cheers.
You too. Thanks.